look at India, 150% tariff on American alcohol. You think that's helping Kentucky bourbon be exported into India? I don't think so. 100% tariff on agricultural products from India. President Trump believes in reciprocity, and it is about dang time that we have a president who actually looks out for the interests of American businesses and workers.
India is the largest producer and consumer of whiskey in the world. When it comes to drinking, it better be the Patiala peg after all. Jokes apart, America-produced Bourbon is a minuscule 1% of India's whiskey market. The United States exports $9 million worth of that Bourbon to India. Till last month, those American imports attracted 100% tariff. The Modi government slashed them by half in the budget, though it seems the White House's spokesperson is not updated on that fact. But this is not about Indians developing a taste for American bourbon. The larger global trade war unleashed by Donald Trump has started having an impact, and not all of them are to the advantage of America or Trump. The markets are in a tailspin. Long-term outlook for global economy increasingly looks uncertain, and that's why it is getting reflected in the gold prices, for example, which crossed $3,000 to an ounce for the first time in history this week. That's roughly rupees 90,000 per 10 grams in India. There's more to it, which is not going America's way. Pound sterling, which was 1.25 to a dollar in November last when Trump won the election, stands at 1.29 now, 2 months into his presidency. Euro has strengthened from 1.062 to 1.093 against the dollar in the same period, which means the dollar has become weaker in the same markets which Trump seeks to target with his tariffs. The Wednesday announcement of tariffs had immediate blowback from the rest of the world. The European Union's retaliatory measures worth $28 billion match the impact of Trump tantrums on trade.
The European Union must act to protect consumers and business. The countermeasures we take today are strong but proportionate. As the United States are applying tariffs worth $28 billion, we are responding with countermeasures worth 26 billion euros. This matches the economic scope of the tariffs of the United States.
Even friendly nations like Japan and Australia have been hit. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the tariffs were entirely unjustified and against the spirit of the nation's enduring friendship with America. This is not a friendly act, said Albanese. Interestingly, Australia was exempt from the tariffs imposed during first term of Trump. So what has changed? Look at this post by the US President on Truth Social. He calls the EU hostile and formed with the sole objective of taking advantage of the United States. He believes the long trade deficit that the US has run post-World War II with the rest of the world is a result of a malicious plan by Europe, by China, by India, and others to fleece his country. It does not help that, like Juhi Chawla of Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na, Trump switches the tariffs on and off between morning and evening. A day after announcing the Canada tariffs, he rolled them back the next day. The markets are not liking it. The Nasdaq was down 4% on Wednesday, but more tellingly, Tesla's stock tanked 10%. Trump's first buddy Elon Musk is not exactly benefiting either. As per reports, 5 top billionaires of the world, all of whom attended Trump's oath-taking ceremony in January, have seen their collective wealth come down by $209 billion. The S&P 500 is down roughly 10% since Trump took over presidency. The American president gets it wrong at multiple levels. 1. America consumes more than it produces. That's been the pattern since World War II, and that's because cost of production is higher in US with their dollar wages and whatnot. It cannot produce the same textiles and clothing that it consumes as efficiently as companies can in Bangladesh, or footwear in Vietnam, or washing machines and television sets in South Korea, or the Trump mega hats in China. 2. Trump gets it wrong again when he says he would make other nations pay for the tariffs for the simple reason that the duties get paid by the importing nation. As the importers pay more to the Treasury, they pass on the additional burden to the consumers. If sustained, the tariffs are going to build an inflation spiral in the United States. That makes one wonder if this is really the plan. Addressing a business gathering a day before the tariffs kicked in, Trump maintained that the action would encourage foreign companies to invest in US manufacturing, effectively to avoid costs. But it is not that simple. The raw material would still need to be imported, even if the shop floor for manufacturing gets set up in America.
During the first full month in office, we've not only stopped that manufacturing collapse, but we've begun to rapidly reverse it and get major gains. We created 10,000 manufacturing jobs in February alone. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Asked if it could lead to recession, Trump told a gaggle of White House correspondents he did not see it coming, but admitted that this was going to cause some hardship in the short term. I am doing it the hard way, but results are going to be 20 times better. American economy would boom, he said.
I don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom. But as I said, I can do it the easy way or the hard way. The hard way to do it is exactly what I'm doing, but the results are going to be 20 times greater.
Mr. President, you asked...
And remember, Trump is always right.
Later, when asked on Fox News whether his policies could lead to a recession, an uncharacteristically ambivalent Trump said he hates to make predictions. There is a period of transition, which means he is not ruling the possibility out. If you read his lips, which is not easy, and read between the lines, the message is clear. Tariff is a tool to browbeat others, to shift manufacturing. If companies and corporations make in America, there might be case-to-case relaxations on imports. It is easier said than done, however. That brings me to what's in it for us. India has lived through this with the horrific import substitution regime during the Planning Commission days, and would not wish it upon anyone. The Modi government has been prepping up. There's been a flurry of activity in New Delhi, with the Commerce Ministry checking with importing bodies to explore whether they can import more from the United States vis-à-vis China without compromising competitiveness. Minister Piyush Goyal has just returned from Washington, D.C., and the two sides are working to find a way out with a trade deal. And we know of Tesla setting up some showrooms in India, and Starlink getting entry via tie-ups with Indian telecom majors just this week. But till that happens, every morning would be a typical Trump roller coaster, even swinging from the sublime to the ridiculous. Look at this post of the US president. If Europe does not reduce duty on whiskey, I would impose 200% on French wine and champagne. The Americans would have expensive wine, the French even more expensive Bourbon. For us in India, for the time being, our women folk are going to be richer. Gold prices have sped up thanks to the uncertainty, and all that glitters on our sisterhood has an extra sheen for now. Thanks for watching.